Ndị be anyị ekeneni m unu ọzọ n'ụbọchị nke taa. Daalụ nne ka unu si wee na-esoro anyị n'ihe anyị na-eme n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nke taa na Eastern News 24. Anyị sị n'ụbọchị nke taa ya dịrị anyị na mma. Anyị sị na anyị ya dị ka echi na echi ada agwụ agwụ. Otu anyị kwuru otu akọ ya dịrịrị. Ise ise ise. Dịka o si dị, dịka si kwuo unu nkwa n'oge gara aga, a ga na-ewetara unu ya bụ update bụ gbasara maka ife na-eme n'obodo a. Ana gbasara maka nwere ụwa a na-azọ. Ịma n'ụbọchị nke taa anyị were nnukwu good news n'ebe akwụkwọ. Maka na ya bụ ife abịawago nso. Maka ọ bụ ife onye ndu gwara anyị na ya bụ ife abịago nso. Ihe niile o kwuru emesigo, mana ọ bụrụ ya ka ji maka ya wee bịa n'ụbọchị nke taa. Ya ji maka ya wee bịa bụ na broadcast anyị etinyere unu, anyị na-akpọ ya morning tea dịka unu si wee malụ. Ihe a bụ between Biafran Prime Minister Maazị Simon Ekpa and the leader of AMBAZONIA in alliance to assist the both nation. So with the agreement validity and the things fast sign si n'elu akwụkwọ ntinyere unu kunu dekwa ya bife kunu were continue wee nụ. Ị ga-esi ya bife drop ọrụ comment ife iche gbasara maka ya bife ndị enu gasị n'elu akwụkwọ. Cheta na nke a bụ part 1 ya. Anyị ga-etinyekwere unu ọ dị up to 3 session, mana anyị ga-eme ya n'usoro. Dịka ị na-egesi nke ị ga-esi ya ka bakwarụ drop or comment and share ya ka ndị ọzọ wee nụkwa ya bụ ife. All right, over to you, sirs.
All hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, PM, your voice is out, sir.
Okay.
Maybe you need to send a message, sir.
Yes, I have done that. Let's see.
Yeah. Prime Minister, we are back. Let's see if we can get Dr. Shoayaba back. Biafran people, welcome back after the interruption from the internet and the owners of the platform. We are back again and we must continue. We are here. It is Biafra. It is Ambazonia. Yes, Dr. Shoayaba is back here. Dr. Sho, grab the mic. Prime Minister, please try to give Dr. Shoayaba a co-host and see if his network would allow him. That will be on the safer side.
Yes,
Dr. Cho, can you hear me?
You're welcome.
Yes, I hear you.
All right, welcome back, sir.
Thanks a lot.
All right, as I was saying, the ICG, try to bring our alliance to the international stage, but from a very wrong context, and from a very wrong perspective. Well, like everybody knows the role of media, there is no media awareness that is negative. No matter how negative the writers or journalists want to be, at the end of the day, you bring this information to the people that needed it, and they will find out the truth at last. So the most important thing is that the Biafra Ambazonia Alliance is an international stage, whether for the right thing or for the wrong thing, it doesn't matter. What matters is that some people somewhere are aware of this particular alliance. When those who are trying to belittle the capacity of Ambazonia and Biafra will go into research to know how we have been able to safeguard our land against Islamic State invasion. Then they will find out the truth. The report said that both nations, Biafra and Ambazonia, are looking for safe haven, and that will destabilize the region. Like I've said before, we start having an attack. It is not us that destabilizes the region. The region has already been destabilized by the invaders whose ulterior motive is to turn everybody into Islamic State either directly or indirectly. And we have no choice. We are left with no other choice than to defend our land, defend our women and our children. And today it is happening. I can never, ever back down, step back an inch from the decision that we have made to liberate ourselves from the shackles of this particular subjugation. That the enablers, both the enablers, their sponsors, the inventors has brought on our people. Our decision is what is going to work for us. The model we are following today is our own model, not Mandela model, not Gandhi model, not Martin Luther model. It is a model that is going to work for Biafra. Because we are in a different era, my people, and we are facing completely different problem. The complexity of the problem we are facing today requires a very different approach. So when anybody tells you to go and look how other people did it, tell them we are not looking at how any other person did it. We are looking at how we are going to do it in our own way to solve our own problem. And I will continue to say it anyway. We have found a way to make sure that Nigeria does not kill us again and go free. We have found a way to fight our way out of Nigeria. And that way is the only way that works for us. Not me going on hunger strike. It doesn't move Nigeria. Nigeria will celebrate it. Not me doing any other thing, saying, oh, everybody should drop arms because Gandhi used non-violent. Because, and when we talk about violent, when we talk about non-violent, I do not know who is using violent. Is it us who have been killed for carrying ordinary flag? Is it us who have been killed for going out to the streets to say enough is enough? Is it us who have been killed in our own homes? Our children, our women has been killed, raped in our own homes. Who is violent? Is it us who have said you can't kill us again? Or is it those who have been perpetrating this particular heinous crime against our people for ages? And we have risen up today to say, no, you can't do it anymore. And they want to give you a bad name, say you are violent. If that is the definition of violent, I am violent. I can never stop this violent. If it is to defend my people is what you know to be a violent, I am violent. And I will be that violent until the freedom comes. Thank you very much. Choyo Ayaba, you can go ahead from here, please.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mr. Prime Minister. Am I being heard?
Yes, you are
Very
being
well,
heard.
sir. Very
All
well,
right.
sir.
I would like to address a couple of issues and look into the future. Um, we should be very optimistic, not because we are more powerful than those who held us captive since we were born, but because we are wiser. And the Prime Minister talked about instability. Instability is caused by insecurity, and insecurity is caused by poverty that is induced through mismanagement, corruption, and lack of accountability. Our both nations, both the economic and political infrastructures have been hijacked and tailored to satisfy a handful of gun-wielding, powerful individuals who have now caused even the collapse now of the Naira. And I'm happy that the Prime Minister and myself, we've had discussions on establishing an intermediate currency for Biafra. A violation of human rights, torture, and arrest, imprisonment, lack of fair trial, summary execution has been the cause of instability. Environmental degradation, getting into Biafra land, into Ambazonia, with corporations whose sole interest is profit and engaging in activities without concern for the protection of the environment has caused oil spills, has caused health hazards. Those are the causes of instability. And I can agree with the Prime Minister more. If you go further to looking at these reports, which purport to cite primary and secondary sources, they are produced in what I call a Eurocentric manner that negates the contextual realities, which, if followed, would have produced reports that are not only objective, but reflect the reality of the moment. You find the report, talking about the Amazonian Governing Council and others as militias. And that is not only abusive, but it is wrong. But one of the reasons why we wanted to highlight this report, as the Prime Minister has said, is also because if we do not establish the institutions that can produce our own reports, others will do it for us. And that's why during our last outing, we talked about creating the Ambazonia BIAFRA International Relations Institution that will be responsible for overseeing opportunities. And I state this here. Amazonia has engaged in negotiation already. The first failed attempt was through the Swiss government. The second aborted attempt was through the Canadian government. And in my leadership, I have always brought up the Biafran issue, because the destabilization being caused in Biafra by all the issues I have named is going to affect the economic prosperity of Ambazonia and the political stability which is required for investment in Ambazonia. So we must look into how we are going to shape an approach that is going to undermine the approaches that have been established within the continent. For example, the report highlights the importance of the African Union in either resolving or getting involved into the conflict. If we just look at the last African Union, over 5 countries did not, or more countries did not participate because they consider the African Union as having been hijacked by either the European Union, as we saw the French intervention in undermining the supposed currency that they wanted to put in place. We have also realized that the African Union is made up of friends who safeguard the interests of friends, do not have the interests of the constituents they represent, do not have the interests of the millions of Africans. So you can find that Africans are being attacked in South Africa, you will hardly get criticism. You will find that Africans are being molested across the continent. The heads of states that are overseeing these countries for the interests of foreign corporations can never be held to account because the other countries that are supposed to hold them to account are also ruled by individuals who are either corrupt, inefficient, or dictatorial in their economic and political approaches. So how do we move forward? Who do we look up to? Do we want to, as Biafrans and Ambazonia, create a new world order that redefines, the concept of state interrelationship, concept of sovereignty, state security? How do we want to do it? As the Prime Minister said, the Gandhis, the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X, the Mandelas existed at a particular time. Also, their time and the approaches responded to the geopolitical relationship that existed then. The struggles between capitalism and communism, where international actors could support one side to push them to adopt economic models or political systems that are commensurate to their own. We have harnessed the power of the social media. I will not remind you that we are on Twitter. Then, during the Mandelas, you needed a radio station to be able to communicate. Now, we have the power of the social media. We can undermine constructed narratives, the books written by historians that favor the occupiers of our country can be undermined through knowledge created by the access we have using the social media. So how can we positively not only use the social media to undermine the narrative that treats us as subject to the master state, but also to create alternative political, economic, and social models that will be embraced by our peoples? It is not enough to let the people know what you are fighting against. It is more important to let the people know what you are fighting to offer. This is why we must not wait for the kind of economic model we want to be established only after we have completely defeated colonialism. Biafra and Ambazonia must begin to trade and regulate the trade and make sure that those who trade pay taxes to both institutions that can be used to be reinvested within communities to create proper systems of education, proper systems of cohesion that keeps our people clean environment and that gives our people respect and dignity. We are not going to wait until we defeat these enemies to establish an education system that is going to develop curriculum of education that responds to economic and socio-economic and political reality. We are not going to sit here and study about fishing and forestry in Norway when you can deal with it down there in Biafra. I told Ambazonians the other day, Singapore got palm. I think from Inigo, Singapore, what it produces in terms of monetary value in palms is $11 billion a year from palms imported from Biafra. It has established a palm industry and subsidiary.
And by a mono also educating room, yeah, living for them bagaku, Nirwako. Kefi were kubasta makaya beef, Chitapon basta bobo safo, Ubasayafo, Nanibo. Kefi were kiku basta makaya beef, Nina Ugase. Drop or your comment on the comment section below. Whether the give a ball, Daluline, Chitakweno, Ozone, Eastern is 24. Guys, go in with the Luno, Kemesian on the bar.